everyone, I'm Lonnie Tran, founder and president of Cards for Kindness 66, and this video is a live Q&A session we had with the lovely Sheehan Belleca and our amazing Cards for Kindness 66 members. This video is for anyone who's looking for a career in the medical field, but they need advice or are feeling discouraged. Sheehan provided a ton of advice and answered a lot of lingering questions that our members had. This video also has some cute animations and graphics to accompany it for visual representations. Thank you so much to Sheehan for taking time out of her really busy day in order to give us advice and encouraging words for our members looking to pursue a career in the medical field. Because it means so much to us being able to have such a supportive community, and that's why I also thank each and every one of our members for contributing towards our mission and making cards. That's a little hint. We didn't let Sheehan leave empty-handed after the Q&A. We surprised her afterwards. She started to cry. I started to tear up a little bit. It was a lot, but thank you so much to Sheehan. I can't thank her enough for what she's doing for people, and it just shows the Cards for Kindness mission about how we are sending out cards, but it's also about the words of encouragement and the love that goes along with the cards. And Sheehan gave us so much encouragement and love for the Q&A. So without further ado, this is the live Q&A session we had with her.
So, welcome to this live Q&A with me. I'm a pre-med student. My name is Sheehan Belleca, and so let's begin. So this is me in high school. Yay! Okay, so in high school, I actually went to an all-girls school in the Philippines, and I spent my 4 years in high school in a school called St. Scholastica's College, Manila. So during my freshman year, I was a new student, so I came from a co-ed school, like all with boys and girls, and then to high school, it was like a huge quick shift in my culture-wise. It's like, oh, they're all girls, there's no boys anymore. Anyways, so I knew back then that I am an average student academically, so I took it upon myself to take on leadership roles, even if I'm new, because I felt like it was a chance for me to, be on the loop, because I know myself, like, I was not really a good student, like academically. And so during my first my freshman year, I was elected class president, and then second year I was the scholastic ambassador, and third year I was the secretary of my club, science club, and then senior year I ran for office. I won as a student council officer, and I oversee the clubs in my high school. Also, just want to point it out that I'm not a 4.0 GPA student in high school, but I find it like it was my edge that I have leadership experience. And so, yeah. So I graduated high school at 15. So we don't normally have those cap and gown type of, thing when you wear in graduation. And so I went to college in the Philippines first. So I went to De La Salle University, Manila at age 16. That's only because I graduated high school early. And so initially, I set my heart to biology. I wanted to do biology because I was in love with it in high school. But then this was the only school that accepted me into a program. And so they put me into a physics program. And I was like, what? And so I went for it. Later on, I'll let you know why I went for it. Okay, moving on. I moved to the US when I was about to turn 17, and I went to community college first because at that time, I wasn't like a California resident at that time, and going to a 4-year university was like a lot of money. It was a lot of money, and it was expensive, and so I went to community college. I graduated with a degree in liberal arts with emphasis in science, math, engineering. I also completed all of my pre-nursing prerequisites, and I graduated as cum laude. So this is like a preview of what I loved in college. So this is a baby skeleton, and I also did anatomy and physiology back in community college because I was like, it's one of the prerequisites in nursing school. So you have to like take anatomy and physiology. So we did a lot of dissecting and studying the body, and then more pictures. Yeah. So our classroom size is pretty big in physiology, but in our anatomy lab, it's pretty small. So we don't, like fight over a bone or something. Okay. So also in community college, I took advantage of opportunities offered by my pre-med clubs. So this was in Stanford. So we went to Stanford for a conference. This is this was back in, if I'm not mistaken, 2018. And so there were speakers like medical students and physicians, and they were just very encouraging to us, like people of color. And it's a very great experience because you get to speak with the medical students as well. So these are some of the things that we did there. This girl over here, she's a medical student, and she showed us where they usually like hang out and study and review. So they have this cool, how do you call this? I forgot what it's called, but in Stanford they use that. How do you call that? I forgot what it's called. It's like a 3D. So you don't have to dissect an actual thing. So it's like computerized, and so it was so cool. So yeah. Also in college, I got involved with a lot of social justice organizations. So this was during I also took, like, of course, you gotta take a political science class. So yeah. And also I was active in the student government ish. So this was when we did tabling. So we were like advocating for student representation fee. This was in community college. It was just fun because in community college, it's not like not everyone is the same age as you and from the same background. Like some of them are like parents, some of them are working, some of them are coming back to school. So it was a great experience for me. I was 17 here. Yeah, I was 17 there. So what are the challenges that I faced in the US? So first of all, just so you know, I moved to the US when I was about to turn 17. It was initially just me and my dad. And so one of the challenges that I faced was that I was far away from my friends in high school. I was far away from my family too. And so it was difficult to adjust because I was like, what the heck am I doing here? Like, it wasn't my choice to move, to be honest. It was like my parents' decision, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So that was one of the challenges that I faced. Also, it was difficult for me to find a mentor that would understand where I'm coming from because my experiences as a college student, was pretty unique. And yeah, so after graduating to yeah, a lot of selfies. I'm sorry. Okay, so when I graduated in community college at that time, I was applying to nursing programs. And in California, it's difficult to get into a nursing program because it's impacted and there's a lot of competitive students out there. And so, but I didn't want to stop learning. And so I enrolled in UCLA Center for Prehospital Care. They taught us phlebotomy, and I was able to work in different hospitals and different clinics. So yeah, I don't have photos inside the hospital, as because it's pretty. It's a private thing. So yeah, one of the great experiences that I had during that time was, okay, this picture over here. It was like 6 in the morning. No, probably 5, because my shift starts at 6 a.m. and it's at 12. And knowing me, I don't like being late in my shift. So from Alhambra to Westwood, I woke up at 3, and then I got there at 4, and so that was fun. And my shift during that time was pretty cool as well, because you know how, because that was like an in-hospital thing, so you gotta go to your patient's room and like, okay, good morning, I'm sorry to wake you up, we're gonna take your blood. And it was like a pretty cool experience, because um, you get to, yeah, because patients, it's a mix of everything, I guess. Some patients are pretty, you know, they're, of course, they're sick, they're tired, and they don't want to be bothered, like, why are you taking my blood again? But no, we gotta do what we gotta do. Yeah. And some more pictures. This was where I trained over here. This is me looking tired after a shift. And this was like my mini cart in the hospital. I was able to like sneak in a photo. Anyways, so here are some of the places that I worked. I worked here at Ronald Reagan Medical Center, 200 Medical Plaza, if you're familiar with that. Those are in Westwood. Also in Santa Monica Medical Hospital and Hollywood Sunset Free Clinic. My favorite place that I worked as a student phlebotomist was here in Hollywood Sunset Free Clinic. I didn't take pictures inside because I was at work. Anyways, so okay, so let's go like really quickly. So here, how I chose my school. So in high school, when at that time I was like 15 or something, the way I chose my school is based on how near it is from my house, tuition, and the program. And so these were like the 3 schools that I was like eyeing at that time. This is University of the Philippines, this is University of Santo Tomas, and this is the school that I ended up going into. So I want to go into University of the Philippines. This was like one of my dream schools because it's a state university. The tuition fee is like, you're like the scholar of your country, so you don't have to pay that much. And at the same time, they are a research university, so I like that too. University of Santo Tomas, I applied there too, but I applied there because they have a hospital, and it was a pretty old school because it was established like back in the day. So they're pretty, reliable, I guess, and solid in their research and their science programs. But I ended up here in Dallas University, Manila, because I didn't want to go here at first because it was expensive. But I ended up here because they admitted me to a physics program. So if you have questions, you can just like put it in the chat box. So where am I going next? Okay, so reach target safety. So these are like some of the terms that I learned from my brother, because my brother, by the way, he went to school here in high school here in California. So he studied junior and senior year here, and so these are the things that I learned from him. So when he was applying to schools, he had a list of schools that he wanted to get into. So that's the reach. So reach are like the schools that have like over the top GPA, high SAT, whatever. And so those are your reach schools. And then target schools, those were the schools that your GPA falls into that school's, acceptance rate sort of stuff. And yeah, and then the safety school is a little below your GPA, but still pretty good school. Other factors in choosing your school is the location, if you want to go out of state or you want to stay where you are. And then also you want to take a look at the program or the major they offer. If, for example, if you're interested with going into STEM, you want to go for a school that, has a research, they have research. And if, for example, you want to go pre-med, you might want to apply to a school that has a hospital too. And if tuition is a factor, then, think about it too. And class size, I put class size because I think what students forget sometimes is you want to get the most out of your college experience. So for me, my personal opinion about class size is I want a very small class size so I get to interact with my classmates and my professors. And also, it's a good thing to form your relationships with your professors because you would need them in the future when you're asking for like letter of recommendations. It's best if that person pretty knows you pretty well. Sorry. Okay, choosing a major. So I went from physics to pre-nursing to now biochemistry. I wasn't able to put here where I'm going right now during fall, but that was like the flow. So initially, I was a physics major just because um, I wanted to get into a university, and so I accepted this school. I accepted the program from this school, and I was like thinking to myself, okay, during my second year, I'm just gonna shift out to biology. But then things happen in my life and I moved to the US. And so when I moved to the US, I was like given, at that time, I was given 4 years to figure my life out. And after that 4 years, I had to go back. And so at that time, I was thinking to myself, what major should I choose that um, would give me good clinical experience? And so that's how nursing came into picture. And so nobody told me at that time that it was difficult to get into a nursing program. And so I waited and waited and waited. And there's a lot of rejections along the way. To be honest, I applied like 3 to 4 years to nursing schools. And during those 3 to 4 years, they're just full of rejections. Until last year, I applied to a nursing program and a different program. It's called the biochemistry program in Cal State LA. And at that time, I was just I was praying that, wherever you put me, I will do my best. And so I applied to that nursing program, and it turns out they didn't accept me again. I didn't feel bad at that time anymore because I faced many rejections and it wasn't a new thing. And so after that rejection, my family was granted, I think it's here. Is it here? Yeah, that's my family. There. My family was granted permanent residency. And so finally, we'll be granted to, stay longer in the US. And so that was like a sign to me that maybe finally I could pursue medicine. And so few months after getting our permanent residency, I got an acceptance letter from Cal State LA in their biochemistry program. And so I went for it. Yes. So why medicine? I don't know if Lani told you, some of you maybe, about my reason of going into medicine. To be honest, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. Because when I was in high school, I was like 15, 14. And my only reason for going into medicine was, number one, I was in love with science. Number two, I wanted extra letters in my name. I wanted that MD in my name. And so eventually in my life, I figured that those reasons were very superficial. I figured that those reasons weren't enough for me to power through and like go through the long process of getting into medical school and becoming a physician. And so throughout my journey in college, it was a learning experience for me because there were many times in my life that I felt medicine wasn't for me just because I was doing it for the wrong reasons. And so throughout, I learned many things about myself and many things about the world too. My experience as a phlebotomist exposed me to what the healthcare system looks like in the U.S. and who gets to have access to healthcare. And so I was very motivated to pursue medicine because of that. Because especially when I worked in the free clinic. So remember, I worked in Ronald Reagan Hospital. That's a very well-funded hospital. And at the same time, I also worked at a free clinic where they have very limited resources. to be honest, I have to bring my own, those bands that you put in your arm when you're getting their blood. Yeah, I have to bring my own when I go to the free clinic. But in the hospital, after one patient, you just throw them away. So, those little experiences in my life kind of like made me, I don't know, I don't know, there's just so much empathy in me, I guess, that I felt it wasn't fair that people who have lower socioeconomic status don't get the best healthcare that they deserve. And so, yeah, that's one of my reasons. To be honest, when I was thinking about my why medicine, it evolves every time. So if you're thinking about it right now and you don't know why you're doing it, or you have a reason right now, expect that it's going to change over the years. Because when I was in high school, yes, I would say that I was motivated for very superficial reasons, but then eventually it changed. And so I didn't know that my experiences back then were also one of the triggers, I guess, that pushed me into pursuing this path. Because in high school and in college in the Philippines, I was very involved with kids. So here are some of my pictures with the kids. Oh, before I show you those pictures, I wanted to show you, like right now, how I kind of like figured out and like why I wanted to like pursue medicine here. Okay. So number one, probably one of the things that you should think about when you're thinking about your major or you're thinking about why you want to do this or that, think about what problems of concerns of other people do I resonate with. And so this was very, it hit me so much because when I was younger, I was doing things, but I wasn't really, I wasn't really in it. I hope that makes sense. And then when I grew older, I realized that, okay, all jobs basically help people. If you become a bank teller, you're basically helping people open bank accounts. If you become this and that, jobs involve people. And so what problems or concerns of other people do you resonate with? And then for number two, what are your abilities and your weaknesses? So for me, my abilities, I guess, is that I have so much empathy towards other people. And some of my weaknesses is that I'm quite indecisive in a sense. So yeah, think about your abilities and your weaknesses and how you're gonna be able to use that to pursue your career in the future. And think about your weaknesses as well. Are you willing to work on those weaknesses? If not, then might as well choose a different career. Number three is this: where does the community tell me I'm needed? Again, it's all about people. When you're going into medicine, it's all about people. It's not going to be about you as a physician, to be honest. It's going to be all about your patient. And so, think about where do you see yourself working? For me, I see myself working in rural places, less in the city, because I was very compelled because of my experiences in high school and in college as well. I think it's here. Okay, here. It's here. So in high school and in college, I did a lot of outreach programs. And so I was a tutor for many years in high school and college. I wasn't really doing it for medicine at that time, but it made me realize how important medicine is and healthcare is for underserved people and the marginalized women and children, most especially. Yeah.
Bryce typed one in the chat. She says, is graduating at 15 average / normal from where you were? Because it's amazing from here in the US. And I agree. When I first saw that, I was like, whoa!
Okay. Here, during that time, can you hear me? Okay. During that time, so our education system at that time didn't change 2 years after I graduated. So at that time, you normally graduate high school at 16. I was pretty early because I studied early, so I graduated at 15. But 2 years after, they changed the system, so it's also K-12, and now students are graduating at 18, 17. Yeah.
Ooh, Mary has one. What specific classes / clubs did you take in high school that helped you get into college?
Okay. So specifically in high school, I was part of the science club. But again, that was just because I love science, not because I was good at it. There are people who are like that. And so that helped me get into college because I think as a high school student, I realized in high school that um, I best fit in the science field. I just don't know where. And so that helped me for my decisions in college, in applying in biology and like getting into that physics program. To be honest, when I took that physics program, I only took it because I enjoyed physics in high school. And so I thought like it wouldn't be so bad to spend my 1 year studying that. And so what other clubs that I get into high school? Again, just like what I said, I was very into leadership roles because I love working with people. And it helped me in college, not literally get into college, but it helped me in college because having that interpersonal skills in high school, as young and as early in high school, it will help you in college, to be honest, because college is, I wouldn't say it's all about networking, but it requires a lot of networking. And so once you develop that skills, then you're good to go for college. What do I do in my free time? Ask Nicholas. Okay, so I am very into photography and graphic designing. I am. It's very weird, right? Like science, and then you go arts. Like what? Okay, so I'm very into photography and graphic designing. I work right now. I also work for my church as a multimedia core member. So my church pretty much is, I make the presentations. I make announcement slides. Those like the thing that you post in the websites. So yeah, that's one of the things that I do. Also, I love reading. Yeah, because I love reading. I don't know how to explain that. What else? What else do I like doing? I also have a little brother. He's 7 right now, and I spent most of my time with him. So whatever he wants to do, we do. I also play Roblox. It's not just kidding. I mean, I just learned doing Roblox just because he wants me to play it. But yeah, okay. What else? Did college work vary between different majors you had? If so, which program was the hardest? Very much. Okay. Why are you doing that, Samuel? Okay. I saw you. Okay. So what college work? Okay. It's pretty interesting because in physics, it requires a lot of math. And I gotta tell you that during my college in the Philippines, I failed my calculus class. That was like the first fail in my life ever. So it was very, I think it was very fortunate that after that year in college in the Philippines, I moved here and I get to start anew. And so that's one of the college work I had to do for physics. But in nursing, in pre-nursing, you don't have to do calculus. So the most math that you would do in nursing was statistics. And it was pretty cool too. Which program was the hardest? I would say it depends. It depends on your skills and how you love the subject. Because personally, physics was okay for me, but it wasn't where my heart is, And when I studied some of my classes for nursing, especially physiology, anatomy, microbiology, I was just so geeky about it. Like I love doing this. And so yeah, it depends like how hard a program is, depends on you, if you enjoy the program, you enjoy your major. So for the 3 to 4 years you were getting rejected, did you ever feel unmotivated or felt like this wasn't going to work? Yeah, definitely. Okay, so here's the thing. When you came from the Philippines and you graduated that early, I would say that, is anyone here Filipino? Oh my gosh! Okay, so if you grew up in the Philippines, if you grew up in the Philippines, um, I feel like there's that expectation that you gotta finish college ASAP. And so I was like, oh, I need to get into this program already, because like my batchmates in the Philippines are already graduating. They're already attending medical schools. And there was so many times in my life that I felt so unmotivated to like push through, because when I see myself where I am at in my life and like look at my peers, I was very, unmotivated. But then again, it was very helpful for me to realize that during those moments that I was rejected and during those setbacks, however it is in your life that you experience setbacks, it's not because this isn't meant for you. I feel like for me, it was important to learn that those setbacks are actually your stepping stones. So like, okay, you're not progressing in your career, but you are progressing as a person. You're developing your character. So I always think about it whenever I face rejections, like character over career, Sheehan, character over career. You gotta like, you build up what's in here so that when you finally set foot into your career where you're meant to be, you're strong and, you're not going to give up easily. And so, yeah. Which major helped you out the most in your path to becoming a pre-med? I think it wasn't the major that helped me the most. I think it's more of my experiences, because if I didn't, work as a phlebotomist, I wouldn't experience working in a free clinic. I wouldn't experience working with clinical lab scientists. So again, I think it's one of the things that high school students should also know, that your major in college is not the only, basis on how you're going to do well in life, to be honest. It's the experiences. So yes, if you have the chance in college, or let's say in the future, that you get to explore different opportunities and work in different places or work with different people, take them, because your path in figuring out what you want in life will also depend on those experiences. Next question by Sandro. I just want to say I'm really happy for what you're. Oh, that's not a question. Oh, thank you so much for that. Oh, thank you. What classes would you recommend taking in college that would help out most towards a career in the pre-med field? Okay. Um, I also want to point out first, before I recommend classes, I also want to point out that if you are deciding of, going the pre-med path, it's not necessarily, you're not necessarily required to take a STEM major. I know a lot of medical students whose undergrad major was finance, business administration. They just took the prerequisites for med school. So I guess personally, if you're thinking about getting into medicine in the future and you're thinking about a major that you want to do in college, do the major that you really want to do. If you're not interested with biochemistry like I am, don't take biochemistry. You don't it's not a requirement to be a STEM major. Again, it's not a requirement to be a STEM major in college if you want to go to medical school, as long as you take the prerequisites that your medical school requires. Again, I think one of the things that people are compelled to do in college is to go into STEM major, is because I think the only advantage personally is because some of the prerequisites are already included in your program. So personally for me, I already some of the prerequisites for medical school is already included in my biochemistry program, so I wouldn't have to take extra classes. That's the only thing. Okay, so what classes? Basically, personally, I would recommend, if you have the time and you have the extra money to take classes, do anatomy and physiology. It's gonna make you fall in love with the human body. Also take medical ethics class. That was one of my favorites because medical ethics makes you, because there was one exercise in my medical ethics class. For example, you are in the ethics committee. For example, do you guys know what an ethics committee is? Okay. So imagine someone needs a heart transplant. And so in a hospital, the ethics committee will figure out which among our patients deserve this the most. Something like that. That's what ethics committee um, do. So I recommend taking a medical ethics class because it's gonna open up your eyes to how healthcare system works in general, especially here in the US. And so it also like it's kind of like questioning your morality as well. Like, why you're doing this, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I recommend taking that too. What else? This is very random, but after you talked about ethics and heart transplants, I thought of this. Do you know who is Bray? Oh, okay. So that's a pretty cool question. Where's Bryce? Okay, hi Bryce. Um, I don't know who's the priority on the list because there's a lot of factors that goes into it. If only I could have, I could have prepared it for you guys. But maybe we could do it next time. We could do like an exercise about ethics. There was one exercise in college. It was a kidney transplant, and then there were different patients. Like there was a patient that is a student in high school. She's part of the student government, and there was also another patient that is what do you call that? Formerly incarcerated person, and there was another patient that's a single mom who has 5 kids, all in like financially dependent on her. Those kind of things. So when you talk about ethics, there's a lot of factors, to be honest, um, to look at, because it's a very difficult position. To be honest, I don't want to be in an ethics committee. Just kidding. It's a very difficult position because it just is. So if you ask me, do I know who is priority on the list for a liver transplant? I wouldn't know. But if I were to choose, you don't want to look at it in terms of who deserves it the most, because you cannot tell people you don't deserve this, or you cannot tell, because dude, you're a physician, you're not supposed to tell your patients they don't deserve a new chance at life, right? And so I guess if I were a physician and I was like thinking, okay, who is the priority in the list, I would give it to that patient. You have to look at it scientifically and medically. If I give you this liver, how long how long would you live? Or like, how is it gonna be, you gotta, this is a hard question. This is like a medical school interview. Just kidding. But yeah, you gotta look how well this patient is gonna live when you give them this transplant. Of course, this is not like, it's just my personal opinion, so like, don't attack me afterwards. But like, you have to look at it scientifically, which of your patients is going to do the best, or if this liver doesn't fit this person, or this liver works best with this body or blood type. You got to think about those things. What will you change in your career path if you could go back? Or like, what do you know now that you wished you would have known before going into healthcare? Pretty cool question. What would you change in my career path? Honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. It's so cheesy if you think about it. I wouldn't change a thing because if I had it easy, if I finished studies in the Philippines, I would have the wrong reasons of pursuing medicine. Get it? Because if I didn't go through all of those rejections and all of those, existential crises, just kidding, of like, why am I in this path? Why am I in the US? Like, why am I sitting here? Why am I, if I didn't go through all of those, then I would be a bad physician in the future, to be honest. What do you know now that you wish you would have known before going into healthcare? Um, what do I know now that I wish I had known before going into healthcare? Mm, People will be difficult. That's one. But I think if there's something I knew before going into healthcare is that how healthcare system also contributes to the stress and the I guess how you'll be like as a physician is like because it's easy to say that okay as a physician I'm gonna go to my patients and like do this and that, but like it also I wish I knew before that um, as a physician you're the the power that you have isn't so much really, and that healthcare administration like they do the decisions, and so I wish I knew that before. And also I wish that I explored many other healthcare professions, because to be honest in the Philippines I didn't know so much about physician assistant because we didn't have that before. And actually even now we don't have physician assistants in the Philippines. Another thing, um, I wish I developed a studying technique while I was in high school, because college is pretty tough, but if you know how to study and learn properly, then um, college would be a lot easier for me, in my opinion. I am lost. Is it okay? Are there required classes you need to take before being a pre-med student? Okay. Um, I talked about this with Lani before when we had a one-on-one. I showed her like a path. I wish I could pull it right now. But okay, so required classes that you need to take before being a pre-med. There are no required classes that you need to take before being a pre-med student, but there are required classes that you need to take before becoming a medical student in a sense. So again, to be a pre-med student is basically your decision if you want to pursue that path. But before applying to medical school, you must at least complete all the prerequisites: biology, chemistry, organic chemistry, if I'm not mistaken, some schools require that. Biochemistry, some schools require that too. Physics, and if I'm not mistaken, there's also psychology. Yeah. Actually, if you guys want to, I could send Lani all of my resources when it comes to that, and then she can forward it to you guys. Steps to eventually becoming a doctor. Yeah, that's a follow-up question from Emily. So after graduating high school, traditionally you go to college for 4 years. But again, your 4 years in college is not it's not standard for everyone. Some people take a longer time in college, and that's okay. No worries. After graduating for college, just make sure you've taken the MCAT and applied to medical schools. Once you apply to medical schools, that's 4 years. The first 2 years is your preclinical preclinical years. So basically, you're learning stuff in class and in labs, simulation labs, more on theories. And then on your third and fourth year as a medical student, you're gonna do rotations. So that's the part where you get to explore different and work with physicians and other residents in the hospital. You're rotating in different departments in the hospital. After graduating medical school, you're officially a doctor, but you are required to do residency. So residency depends on um, which program accepted you. Residency is also the time that you get to do the specialty that you like. If you're interested with pediatrics, if you're interested with um, OBGYN, so that's the time that you do that. Residency usually takes 3 to 7 years, and so it depends, yeah, on which program. And after residency, it's optional if you want to do fellowship. So fellowship is like specializing in your specialty, something like that. Afterwards, you're a lifetime physician. Okay. Did you ever participate? Okay, I'm not familiar with HOSA, since I think that's very common in high school in the US. I didn't attend high school in the US, if you're tuning in right now. But I did science, do you call it Olympiads? I did like science competitions back in high school too. Yes. Did you receive any scholarship in high school? No, I did not. But in college, I did receive one. On the topic of it, what do you wish you would have known in high school after attending college? Could you share those? Okay, studying tips. Okay, I suggest that you start experimenting on studying techniques, because back in high school, this is how I studied. I take my textbook and highlight all of the stuff that I wanted to memorize, but that didn't work. I also, in high school, another bad strategy for me personally is that I rewrite my notes a lot, and like for example, my notebook, and then all the notes here, I'll write it in a separate sheet of paper. That's gonna be my reviewer before the exam. Um, it wasn't effective for me because um, it wasn't effective for me just because it just wasn't, because I was just passively learning. And so a studying technique that I want to share with you guys is called active recall. So instead of, you can look it up on YouTube, and you can search active recall by Ali Abdal. It's pretty cool because his way of studying, he's a medical student in the UK. And so the way he studies, um, instead of writing down the definition of this, for example, what is the mitochondria? I mean, mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. That's very common. Instead of writing it like that, you want to write questions for yourself. Like, what is the mitochondria? Why does the ADP increase when there's more mitochondria? Those kind of stuff. So instead of rewriting your notes or highlighting, instead of passively learning, you want to actively learn. You want to practice your brain from, recalling all of the things that you already read before. Because when you review, of course, that's not the first time that you're seeing that topic, right? Because either you read it in your book or your teacher taught it already. And so what you want to do really is practice answering questions. Yeah, I wish I could tell you guys more things. What do you like most about your field, and what do you like the least? Okay. Personally, right now, if you're talking about the field in biochemistry, what I like about it is that it explains many questions about the human body that your typical biology subject wouldn't usually go over. And I love the mix of biology and chemistry. Also, one thing that I'd like to share with you guys is that in high school, I hated chemistry because my chemistry teacher wasn't the best, I guess. Like she had favoritism in high school. And so it was like one of the things that threw me off in chemistry. But then eventually I found the importance of it when I took physiology classes. And so that's one of the things that I like most about biochemistry, is that it's not just about biology. It's not just about chemistry. It's a mix of both. And having a background in biochemistry will give you an extensive knowledge about how the physiological processes in the body works. Yeah. What I like least about it, what I like least about it is the calculus. It's a calculus subject. I mean, if I have the opportunity of like not ever gonna take math again, I would, but it's a requirement. So it's just one of the things that I like the least. Was money a big factor in picking your college? Definitely. Um, when I was in the reason why I went to community college is because tuition was very expensive. And so I'm just gonna put it out there. It's expensive in 4-year college, but also um, for me at that time, I was considered like an international student, so my tuition fee was way more. And so it was always a big factor in picking my college. But when I think about that in medical school, um, I think there was a person who asked that before Lani, right? Like, what if money was a factor for you not to pursue medicine? Here's the thing: in when you go to medical school, it's pretty normal that students loan for their tuition fee, because at the end of the day, um, once you finish your medical school years and when you start earning as a resident, you'd finally, you'd get to pay it off little by little. But I know that money is a big factor for some of you guys in choosing your college, but I hope that money wouldn't be a reason for you not to try looking for opportunities. There are a lot of scholarships out there. My brother, he's like right next to the room. He's very good at looking for scholarships. So if you have questions about looking for scholarships, I could hook you up with him. Oh, I have 2 brothers. So my other brother, he's also he's not a STEM. He is a STEM major, but he's not pursuing medicine. He's a computer science major, and he's 20. I have 2 brothers, so a 20-year-old and a 7-year-old. Did you think it was my 7-year-old brother who had the scholarships? I'm sorry. I have 2 brothers. I wish I could I don't have a picture of them here. Oh, I showed you a while ago, right?
Yeah. I also have a question. Because I'm Filipino, but I was raised here in America.
Mm-hmm.
But what area from the Philippines were you from?
I grew up in Valenzuela, but I studied in Manila.
Oh,
I also lived in Makati.
That's awesome.
How about you?
My family comes from Batangas and is it Cavite?
Cavite. Okay.
Yeah.
So if that's the end of questions, I actually have a surprise for you real quick. So can you see my screen? Yeah, so you might have figured out that, yes, we're going to make cards, but I actually have them prepared today, and we have all these lovely cards for you. So this is a good time to, we'll go over the cards really fast, and everyone can say their thank yous. So, for example, I'll start off. I made a 3-part card for you. I tried drawing for you. And you can read these over. I will send them to you, and I tried drawing you as a superhero because, you're honestly one of my first models. They're from Aaliyah. I don't think that she was available to come today, but she did want to make cards.
Why are you guys like this?
I don't think Angela's here, but she did make cards for you. They're really cute. And then Betty made a card. Christina's.
Thank you.
You're
trying to make me cry right now.
And this is like a really cute theme going on. This is from Emily. So I told everyone that you like houseplants, and so a lot of them, they made like houseplant themed cards for you. So this is from Erica.
Okay.
There you go.
Aww. Thank you guys.
This is from Gian.
That was
And
really
a lot
cute.
of these, you know, they take on different forms. Some of them, they were hand-drawn. Some of them, they're made online. This is from Jordan. Madison's.
You're all so sweet. You also love plants, huh?
I mean, I didn't really get to write too much in my card, but it's just a general idea off of what she gave us about you before this meeting started. So, I'm sorry it's like so little.
It's
Oh,
okay.
it's really cute.
No, it's really cute.
This
Thank
is
you.
Megan's again with the houseplants. It's so cute. You guys did such amazing cards.
I did 2 cards because one of them was to encourage you to like keep going on your journey and like we're supporting you, and the other card is to thank you for coming on to talk with us.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cute. This
Yeah.
is from Michelle. Michelle's here today.
It's basically the card saying thank you for joining us, and we are supporting you, and we wish you luck on your journey
Thank you so
and your
much.
goals.
You
Lonnie,
guys.
Yes. Sam?
I sent you something.
Oh, you made a card? Last minute submission. Last minute submission.
Did you just make that right now? Yeah, right? Just kidding.
see?
2-second drawings.
You make that right now, Sam? That's cute. I'll add that to the Google Drive. Thank you. So,
You guys are so creative.
Natasha's. I think Natasha's here today. Aww.
I wish I could meet you guys like personally. I'm a hugger, so I love hugging people.
Sending virtual hugs.
Can you show us your houseplant?
Okay, I wouldn't say no to that.
Yeah.
Yes, I named them after Pokemons. So this
Really?
is oh, I'm sorry. Is that like is that embarrassing?
No. What's your plant's name?
Oh, okay. I haven't named that one the tree yet because I can't like it. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But this was like the first philodendron that I have. I call her Leafeon.
Hey.
Yes. This one is a golden pothos. This was actually propagated already, but the mother plant, I call it Genocide. And this is just so funny. And that one, I haven't figured out the name for it yet, but if you have recommendations, go ahead. I have other plants outside, but like the house is messy. Oh, I have a it's actually this. Well, I don't have like this is the closest. I think it's a small bamboo.
No, we love
your
it.
houseplant.
A lot of people went with the houseplant theme. They were like, I'm a houseplant enthusiast too. Richard drew some houseplant. I think he's here today. Richard, do you
Sorry
want to say
for the
anything?
really bad drawings. I can't draw.
So I thought it was
effort and meaning that
Yes,
counts.
so
fantastic.
good.
It's the effort that counts.
Thank you.
They're really
Yes,
nice.
they're so cute.
Cute drawing.
Aww.
This one's from Tara. Gives you a lot of love and support. This is from Vivian.
You guys are so cool. Why do you do this? Just kidding.
And then I think that's the end of it. Yeah. So we have people like Sam who they probably want to send in cards after this. So since they met you, and I will put it in the Google Drive, I'll send it to you. But thank you so much. We have all these cards for you, and we love and support you on your journey.
And if there's one thing that after everything, like this was like an hour of like meeting you guys, if there's one thing that I want you guys to remember is that you will face a lot of setbacks in the future, in high school, in senior year, in junior year, but that's not like the end of the world, okay? And as long as you like focus and like think about all of these setbacks. Oh, I'm crying. Wait, don't do that to me. And as long as you use those setbacks as a learning opportunity for you, you're not failing at life, okay? It's always this, character over career, okay? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're
Cry
very
after
welcome.
this too.
Yay.
Bye, everyone. So
You can
say your final goodbyes. Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
send-
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Name ideas.
My friend has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
What is it?
He's asking if you watch anime.
So this.
I watched the. I do watch anime, but not so much right now because I'm busy with school. But my favorite is
Pokemon is
Attack
an
on Titan.
anime.
My favorite is Attack on Titan.
Yo!
Let's
go!
Okay.
Let's go!
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. But I think they changed the illustrator.
Oh.
Yeah,
Like the
they look
animators?
different. Like I think the latest season of Attack on Titan, the coming one, they changed their illustrator. That's why I didn't figure out that was like Aaron. Anyway,
Oh, really?
Is Levi
I
your
think so.
husbando? Is Levi?
Secret.
Talk
I
about
like
that.
though.
Now we
really
talk about
open.
Attack on Titan.
I know you could talk to her about anime. You could talk to her about houseplants. If you have advice, I will leave her the info in the Discord channel. And thank you so much, Sheehan. We love you. We support you.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much.